Hello everyone and welcome to the Daily Nerd. I'm Dustin Weekly, and Square Enix has dropped a trailer for Marvel's Avengers. And it was, well, fans are mixed on it, needless to say. Regardless, we will do our best to break this down and find the details that you may have missed. So let's get into the first part of this trailer.
You know that old saying, never meet your heroes? Well, I did. And it was awesome! The Avengers were everything I imagined.
Hello, San Francisco!
First, we see a jet that looks like the Avengers jet. However, on a second viewing, I thought it may be the bad guys headed toward the bridge, but the same jet flies past Avengers Tower and also lands on the Quinjet, so it's more than likely the Avengers heading to A-Day. But what is Avengers Day? Well,
our story begins at A-Day, as San Francisco celebrates the opening of the Avengers West Coast headquarters.
we see the Avengers celebrating the opening of this facility, but it doesn't last very long. So let's move on to the next part of the trailer.
Thor, Tony, check it out. At once.
Try to keep up. This just got a whole lot more interesting.
Let's make this quick. Secure the bridge. Those weapons can't get into the city.
Okay, we see the Avengers are celebrating A-Day. There is an iconic explosion at the Golden Gate Bridge. And now Cap jumps into action, telling Thor and Iron Man to check out the situation, while the flightless Avengers get onto a jet and head over. We then see a callback to Bruce Banner jumping out of the back of a jet, and then turning into Big Green himself, almost like Ragnarok. It didn't go all that well for Bruce last time, though. We then get a little of what I think is a short cutscene that leads into gameplay. We've seen this in games like God of War, where cutscenes lead seamlessly into gameplay. We then see Cap is still on the Quinjet, while the Avengers are on the ground, but we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Alright, on to the next part of the trailer.
You set him up. Foul, knock him down.
Thor, what's your status?
There are humans trapped. Lots of small, angry men with guns.
Was that a joke? Did Thor make a joke?
Tony has a pretty cool tease here that I think are possibly a tease to the co-op capabilities that this game is said to have.
You set him up. Foul, knock him down.
We get a good look at the baddies that the Avengers are fighting, but we'll take a little closer look at that here in a little bit. Next, Thor gives an update on his situation, calling the men that he's beating to a pulp with Mjolnir tiny. This is possibly a callback to the scene in Avengers where he does the exact same thing.
So petty and tiny.
Then, we get Tony wondering if serious Thor was actually attempting a joke.
Was that a joke? Did Thor make a joke?
Alright, let's head on to the next part of this trailer.
Cap, they got pulsar tanks.
Tony, Thor, the cables! Cap, what's going on over there?
Start the Chimera, what's your status?
We should head back.
No, stay on task. There are still civilians on this bridge.
Reactor.
Damn it, they played us.
Alright, first we see Hulk doing his thing, and this is a possible callback to Hulk punching Thor in the first Avengers movies. There's a lot of callbacks in this one. Then we see who might be the big bad in this situation. I know this is probably wrong, but my first instincts say that this is Taskmaster. I really have nothing to base this on other than he looks human, that he has the skull mask, he also has the hood, and he even copies Iron Man later with his flight, which his powers are that he can copy other superheroes. Also, the developers do say,
you will instantly recognize your favorite superheroes and villains.
Cap is still on the Quinjet all by himself, and I knew that Cap thought maybe this could possibly be a one-way mission, so he decided that he was the man for the job. And obviously we see the power source explode as Cap is running toward it, and I can't help but think the reactions we see could have been the initial reactions that we could have seen in the movies if Cap was the one who died instead of Tony. Okay, on to the next part of the trailer.
Some say they were set up. Others call them murderers.
Do the Avengers pose a danger to society? That was the question, Bruce. That was the question.
Well, we all lost something that day.
Next, we see the aftermath of A-Day. We see many more on monuments than we saw on that day, and according to the developers,
Blamed for the tragedy, the Avengers are outlawed, and our heroes disband.
Tony realizes that the Avengers may have been more of a danger than a help, just like he did in the MCU.
Do the Avengers pose a danger to society? That was the question, Bruce. That was the question.
You can tell it's been a while since the event, with the dilapidated buildings and Tony's very 70-esque white man afro. It also seems that Cap is actually gone here in this world. With the memorial, as you can tell that Thor has even accepted it. The plaque at the bottom of Cap's statue is a quote from Steve Rogers himself, and it says, quote, "This nation was founded on one principle above all else, the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences." This is actually a direct quote from the comics, when Cap is telling this to Spider-Man in the Civil War comics. Okay, on to the last part of the trailer.
But that's not how this story ends.
Well, what are we waiting for?
This part of the trailer very, very, very vaguely shows us what we'll be up against in this game. First of all, we see something has brought the Avengers back together, with Thor's hammer coming back to him, and this epic hero shot. Anyway, some of the bad guys we see, Natasha is fighting, well, something. The only guess I have is that it's a brute form of the mindless ones. The gray figures with one eye that serve Dormammu, who we've been familiarized with through Doctor Strange. We also get to see Abomination fighting Hulk here. This makes me think we'll see multiple baddies like we saw in Spider-Man PS4 and like in the Arkham series. Finally, the big bad of the game. I actually have absolutely no clue. We simply just can't see enough in this trailer who is at the end of this in the quote-unquote post-credits scene. But I do think this may be a boss battle to release someone, possibly an imprisoned Avenger, from the raft. If you'll notice all the water and the circular shape of the building that they're in, as well as the lights that are all around, it kind of looks like some sort of prison. And the raft is placed in the ocean and is a prison for the most powerful people on the planet. Alright, that is all we saw about the new Avengers trailer, but what did you see that we missed? Also, who are you going to play as when you and your friends can play this in 2020? I know that I have dibs on Iron Man. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out a small channel like mine a lot. And I will see you in the next video.